Hello, everybody, and welcome to this chat with Nathan Leather from DS15. Thanks for chatting, Nathan.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell everybody a bit about your background?
Okay, so I graduated from Loughborough University back in 2012 now. I studied a chemistry degree there, which was great fun. Loughborough's a huge sporting university, so I loved it. That's why I went over there. And yeah, I've always been quite analytically minded. So Gordon Prescott actually was his name of the teacher at my school I went to who convinced me
Mhm.
to study chemistry. I didn't at the time know what I wanted to do. A lot like a lot of people, I suppose.
Nobody does. Yeah, at that age.
Exactly. Why would
Yeah.
you when you're 17, 18?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was something that I knew it'd come in useful later down the line. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a well-respected degree, and also you learn so much doing chemistry because
Yeah.
it's one of those exams where if you don't learn anything, you will literally get zero on that test because it's
It's right or wrong.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and nothing just comes to you in a chemistry exam. You
Yeah.
either know it
Yeah.
or not. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was great fun, and I finished there and um, went back home up to near York. Well, initially I grew up in Hull, which was great, but then my family
Mhm.
moved over to near York while I was at uni, so that was interesting. But York's a great city as well, so that was all fine. And I started looking for odd jobs around the place,
Mhm.
and ended up working at Nestle in the manufacturing site over there, which was
Mhm.
interesting. That was a lot of manual work.
Mhm.
Realized after a couple of months or a couple of days that that's not really what I wanted to be doing, but I stuck at it for the best part of a year.
So you were there for a year, and then you shifted over
Mm,
to the data school, right? From there.
yeah, so pretty
How'd
much.
that happen?
So I think actually I was quite lucky because I was starting to, whilst at Nestle, obviously I was looking for jobs all over the
Yeah.
place, and um, I used to get quite a few. Obviously, recruiters used to
Mhm.
contact me quite a lot, and initially they were trying to put me through sales.
Right.
Um, a lot of sales jobs, which was quite fun
Mhm.
coming down to London and interviewing for them. But when you get to a certain stage in a sales interview or process, they go, "So what's your background and what sales have you done?" And I was there going, "Oh, absolutely
Nothing.
none, in fact." Yeah. And they were like, "Right, okay." So I've got that far, but obviously we're not going to take you on any further. And I got to the
Right.
point where I just said, "Well, this is pointless. Why am I doing anything like this?" So I
Exactly. Yeah.
started looking
Yeah.
um, more at the analytical side of things. And I was then contacted by another recruiter who said this job at the data school looks like you might be interested or a good match for.
Mhm.
Um, and like most people who go to the data school, look at it and thought, yeah, this sounds too good to be true. There's going to be a catch here
A scam.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no CV needed. Although I kind of want to use my CV because obviously I think it's reasonable. Um, but the fact that when someone says you don't need a CV, just download a bit of software, have a play around with it,
Yeah.
and you'll be critiqued, and then you'll keep bouncing back and forth for a couple of months, and when you get to a good enough standard, off you go. I thought, you know what, my life's not going anywhere in the factory. I might as well commit my
Can't
days
hurt,
off to
right?
doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I think that was I had my first interview. I think the October before I actually got through in January or the November because I went through
Mhm.
two processes, which was quite good actually to see the sort of level I needed to be at.
Yeah.
Um, because I actually remember I finished one of my interviews. I think it was with you actually when I was on holiday in Edinburgh for a weekend,
Mhm.
and I had to take my laptop up there and do it from a hotel room, which was quite interesting. So that was good fun. But yeah, that was a bit nerve-wracking, but no, that was good. And then obviously 6 months down the line, I was started in June 2019, and yeah, the rest is this has been great fun
Yeah.
since. I mean, that 3 years since has flown by, which I think is the best sort of.
Yeah. That's a good sign, right?
Exactly, it's a good
Yeah.
time when I
Yeah.
look back and think, wow, I've been all over the place realistically. Because obviously I went up to Nottingham with Ryan for 8 months doing
Yeah.
work with the uni there, and that seems like a lifetime ago now almost. So then obviously COVID, and then back down to London, and
Yeah.
potentially
Yeah.
a few rotations in New York at the moment. So it's all exciting and moving forward. If you
Yeah.
said to me back in when was it the October of 2018 when I started my first application that this is where I'd be like, yeah, that sounds an
I take
interesting,
that.
fun
Yeah.
life. Yeah, that's it at the moment. So I
Yeah.
can't really complain. It's easy when you get to this stage to be like, oh, I want to be doing this, that, and whatever. But actually, I think at the moment it's going all right.
after you went through the training at the data school, you went to Nottingham University for your first placement. Where were your placements after that, and what kind of work did you do?
So after that, I went to it's quite a funny one this because it's a funeral provider using a lot
That's
of
interesting.
yeah that so it wasn't actually as I mean a lot of people think oh that's a bit but it's
Morbid.
not at all it was just yeah more but it's just selling the packages really
Okay.
that was the role I was in and making visualizations to sort of showcase the packages
Okay.
that were on offer and sort of
Right.
show
Right.
which ones were more or were doing better than others.
Hmm.
But that was quite a fun placement because that's when COVID happened. And I was in a great team there who were very flexible and yeah, they were very. I mean, I feel like I get along with most people, but that team was also really good. And
Hmm.
Nottingham was great. I mean, that was a great team to be in. And then same again, jumping um, straight to those guys was really good.
Hmm.
But obviously during COVID, that was when it got a bit more difficult spending pretty much all screen time. But that's the same for everyone. You learn to deal with these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Good to be back home as well, which was nice. So that was quite fun. And then my third placement turned into one of those sort of hybrid placements where I was doing a lot of seeing is believings.
Okay.
If nobody knows, that's where we do sort of introductions to new clients or prospective clients on a week to
Hmm.
2 week process. So that was really fun because you get a lot of flexibility
Mm.
and change with the actual role you're doing. So you end up being with I think I was with a law firm 1 week and then a football team the next, and
Right.
you jump all over the place doing different tasks for them. So that was quite fun.
So that must have really
Um,
helped prepare you for the core consulting team then, right? Because
yeah,
that's the
exactly.
same types of work you get to do there. Yeah,
To be
great.
honest, I think that was probably the biggest thing that I
Hmm.
thought, you know what, I quite like doing this because I quite like the building of relationships side of things where
Hmm.
you'd obviously jump into a call with it could be anyone in the organization depending on what they wanted you to do. You could be with the analyst or you could be with one of the I mean almost up to the
Hmm.
directors at times depending on what level or what the requirements were. So it was quite interesting to see the people you dealt with. And obviously with the US starting up, there were a lot of opportunity to spend time with the US
Hmm.
clients as well. So dealing on those time zones was quite interesting as well.
Yeah.
Um,
What are you going to be doing for the with the team in New York?
so hopefully once they start in June, I'll be doing a mixture of training, obviously supporting with Anne and Sam, Jack, and Colin with the recruitment side of things. But
Okay.
yeah, it seems like a lot of
A
it
bit
would
of
be
everything.
yeah. I think for the time
Okay.
being, it'll be a bit of everything, which is it's quite fun and also will allow me to actually really understand what I want to do going forward in the next
Right.
sort of six
Right.
months to a year as well.
That's good. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm quite open with all of that, and it's
Uh-huh.
quite exciting to know that um, the change is going to be quite fun to see what I want to do as well. Because obviously, I
Yeah.
enjoy the teaching and training and all of that side of things, but I also like dealing with people day to day. So
Yeah.
there's
So you can
plenty
get
of
involved in the
perspective.
commercial side of the business then
Exactly,
as
yeah.
well, right?
So
And the recruiting. Yeah. So you can, yeah, that might help you determine even, you might like those even more than you like what you're doing now.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And there's just so much. I mean, there seems to be endless opportunity at the
Right.
information lab. That's what's so good. I mean, I feel like I could almost say tomorrow I want to actually jump down this the sort of commercial side, and there'd be a chance for me
Right.
to do that if I really wanted to. But it's just for me personally at the moment figuring out the exact sort of the role I want long term.
Right. Right.
And so all these little extra bits here and there are giving me a better idea of what I really want to do, which is great.
Still thinking about New York. What do you think your biggest challenges are going to be with that project?
I mean, from a personal point of view, it might be a bit of the culture change.
Okay.
That might be a big
Have you
thing,
been
but
to New York before?
no, so I've never been to the
Okay.
States. I've been to Canada.
Okay.
Um,
Not the same.
no, apparently not part of the same, not part of the same country. No. But the actual, to be honest, I think we've got a great team going over there,
I
and the
agree.
people we've brought in are so good. I mean, Anne, the new head coach, I think she's going to be awesome, and potentially even better than the head coach of the UK. Can you believe it? But
Yeah.
um, no, I think biggest challenge. I think if we can instill the same culture we have over here, that'll be a big win. But I mean, I'm always optimistic about these things. I think we will, and it seems like the people we've been bringing in on the meet and greets and on the training sessions, they seem really good, a really good high quality of
Yeah.
individual. So
Yeah.
everything's pointing in a positive. in a positive manner at least. I don't think there's anything immediately that jumps out at me that I think could be a step we find hard to overcome.
I guess we'll find out a lot of that along the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously good to plan for these sort of issues that might arise, but I mean, I think we've had quite a few. I think the hurdles that we've climbed already over here and elsewhere should stand us in good stead to overcome them over there too.
What do you think you bring to the team over there?
I think obviously my experience that we all have going to the data school, but I think in particular I'm quite good at just jumping onto things and going. I think I'm quite diverse in that sense, and I think because there's so many opportunities and different challenges in terms of, like we said earlier, the commercial recruitment and just these sort of quick chances to impress people over there, just to introduce to them what we do as a company. I think I'm quite good at jumping into those sort of introductory roles. And likewise, I think the teaching side of things, I've been quite lucky over the past couple of months since joining the core team. I'm doing a lot of introductory Alteryx work for a client here, which is setting up a server and training all those guys how to use Alteryx from the fundamentals to advanced. There's a lot of sort of skills that I've just sort of like toned or fine-tuned, I should say, since doing the same thing on the data school placements, that I think are just essential for people who are starting to know that someone else has been through the same process. And it does take time, but it's just easy to relate to someone when you've been through the exact same process. So there's a lot of those sort of skills that I feel like I can pass on easily without saying, well, I started somewhere. I started 2.5 years ago with next to no experience in the software. So it feels like a long step initially when someone says that to you, but after 4 months of training, and then when you go through, you know that you've got the support, one, behind you, and two, you're actually a lot better than a lot of people who have been using the softwares for years, just because they haven't been able to give that time that you've been able to give.
Right.
So yeah, I think that, and hopefully positivity as well. That's something I always try and bring.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of that. I think, keep everybody motivated. Great. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, Nathan.
Thanks, Andy. Always good
talk
fun.
to you later. Yeah.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.